Okay. So today's Daily Digital Micro Webinar is about improving your searches or your web searches in Google. But it's really, it's not just searching in Google, it's also the same kind of techniques that will apply to most search engines. And most search engines employ a technique called Boolean searching. So Boolean searching, so what actually is that? One second. Sorry about that, guys. I think my Wi-Fi went a bit funny then. So hopefully I'm back now. There we go. Yeah, so as I was saying, Boolean searching. Boolean searching is named for George Boole. He's the mathematician who originally, basically, he's part of one of the founding kind of inventors of how we use computing today. So his Boolean logic is what computing is now based on, with this true and false values. And he proposed that most outcomes could be arrived at through a series of logical choices. So this is usually based on how our own thought processes work. So say, for example, in your house, if you're looking for a tea bag, you're not going to search your entire house for a tea bag. You're going to most likely be looking for a tea bag in your kitchen. And even then, you'd be looking in your kitchen in a cupboard or a tea jar, and probably not in the microwave or the cooker. So in those examples, the tea bag and the kitchen would be what we call the keywords, and words like in, or not are what we call operators. A keyword is essentially what you're searching for, and an operator is what will tell that search engine how to use the keywords in that particular search. So there's a number of different operators that are available in Boolean searching that Google does use. So you've got and, or, not, then you've got brackets and quotation marks. So let's have a look now at how these actually work. So the and function, by default, if you put multiple words into Google and separate them with a space, that is essentially an and function. And what it looks for is the initial word. So say we're looking for the word Cardiff, and we put the word history in there as well. Google or most search engines will look for Cardiff and history and show you those results. Now, using the or function, that will usually increase the number of your results, because it'll look for that first word, it'll look for that second word, but it'll also show you instances where neither word is present. So it'll show you Cardiff, it'll show you history, and it'll show you Cardiff history. So you'll get, a much bigger raft of results there. Then you've got the not function. So the not function will omit a keyword from being displayed in results. Now, not doesn't work exactly like this in Google. The word not isn't used. Google instead uses a minus symbol. So if you just type the word not into a Google search, it'll just search for the word not. But a minus symbol with no space will omit that particular keyword. So if you look for fish, but not chips, you'll only get pages with the word fish. And if you come across a page where it says fish and chips, it simply won't include that result at all. It'll only include that initial keyword. So that can be quite useful if you're trying to narrow results down. You've got wildcards. So the asterisk symbol is a way of filling in words or letting the computer complete words for you. So for example, if you were to type the word histo into Google or another search engine with an asterisk at the end of it, that'll bring back results that include words that start with histo. So you'd have history, historic, historical, histogram, and so on. If you put the asterisk in the middle of a range of letters, it'll try and fill in the blanks for you there as well. So if you type a search like this for H asterisk cal, that'll bring back words that start with H and end in cal. So you'd have historical, hysterical, hypothetical, that sort of thing. Then you've got quotation marks, and these are probably the most useful thing to try and improve your searching. Anything contained within quotation marks will be searched for specifically. So if you were to search for Cardiff Central Station within quotation marks, that'll bring back results that only contain that exact phrase in Cardiff Central Station. So it wouldn't bring back just Cardiff, it wouldn't bring back just Central, it would actually look for that particular phrase. Brackets as well, they allow us to dictate the order of the search. So in this example here, we're actually mixing and matching a couple of different methods. So we're looking for Pontypridd or Cardiff and the exact phrase railway history, but not the phrase historical. So that should bring us back some, quite narrow, a narrower set of results there. And if we actually try this in Google, we'll see what this will bring up. So if I was to type in, just without any operators at all, if I typed in Pontypridd, Cardiff, railway history, by spelling, there we go. So if I type that in and then click return, you can see this brings us about 270,000 results. So that's quite a good range of results there. But if I try that exact search string, so copy and paste that in here. So that's 270,000 results. Let's try this one. And that's now dipped down to 47,000 results. So right away, we've really narrowed that range of results there. And of course, the more identifiers, the more operators you use, the more precise you are, the more you'll narrow what you're looking for that way. So Google itself also has specific terms that can be of use to you. So in addition to the Boolean searching, it has its own particular operators that could be useful for finding things. So you've got site. So if you type, for example, business or finance, and then site : cardiffmet.ac.uk, that will show you all of the pages only on the Cardiff Met website that contain business or finance. So that can be a nice way of searching just specific websites. Then you've got file type. So if you were to, for example, look for the phrase graphic design, file type : PDF, that will only show you PDF documents that contain the word or contain the phrase graphic design. So again, you'll probably get quite a lot of hits off that one, but it's a way of narrowing down a specific file type. Then you've got in title. So in title will only search for a word if it's in the specific title of the web page. So the title of the web page is what gets shown up in the top of the tab or the top of the browser bar. So that will only search for that specific area. Likewise, you've got in URL. So if I was to search for education in URL : Cardiff, that'll search for the word education in any pages where the word Cardiff is in the web address. So that's another way of narrowing things down a little bit. Then you've got in text, which is sort of the inverse of that. So in text won't look at the title, it won't look at the URL. In text will only look at text that's in the actual body of the page. So if I was to do a search for in text : phrasing Premier League, that'll only show me that particular phrase from the body text of websites. It won't look at any of the other HTML around that. So for example, if we put some of this more, put this more into play here, if I was to do a search for, if we look at, if we search specifically insight youtube.com, and then we look specifically for the phrase Cardiff Met. If we look for the phrase digital, I return that. You see here, we've got an extremely specific result then. We've got 5 results. Some of them not exact are here, but you can see we've got Gareth Johns here, my manager, has mentioned this on Twitter. And it should have, if I try and this up a little bit, we should get some video results as well then. Oh, that's definitely increased there. You can see that's 11,000 results there. So if we do did this earlier and it brought up our YouTube channel, but for some reason it's not done it right away this time, and I've done almost the exact same thing. So that's a bit frustrating. Let's try a different tack. Let's do digital skills and see what that brings up. So right away, that's narrowed down the results there. And if I just do a quick search, just say YouTube, and it shows you some of the digital skills videos from previous daily digitals. And with Google as well, what's also quite useful is when you do get search results, you can look at the ellipses on the sides here, and these will give you some information about the result and tells you a little bit about how it was searched. So that can be quite useful as well. So I'll just go ahead and enable your mics. Just bear with me just a moment. And then if anybody does have any questions, feel free to ask away. And in the meantime, I'll go ahead and stop that recording.